Oh, welcome to another episode of the Grow. Shout out to our partners, Craze and Friends, for making this happen. Clean Tech Growth Lab for growing in clean tech. Without them, it would not be possible to interview awesome people doing awesome things like Agabas. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Blake.
Oh, yeah. So we got introduced through a friend of yours who I had a really awesome conversation with on the last podcast that I was doing. I told him I was going in this new direction, and he said, "Oh, I know somebody that is operating in Ghana in the clean tech space." And thankfully, you agreed to do an interview. So I'm really excited to learn more about how the operation has been going for you, and a little bit more about your story. But for anyone that doesn't know yet, if you could just give a brief introduction of yourself and what you're building.
Great, great. So thank you very much, Blake, for having me on your podcast. I think it's really great to be on board here. Yeah, my name is Agudor Kweku Agabas, but my first name is Agabas, and I am an entrepreneur and founder of AppCyclers. So AppCyclers is a clean tech startup. We're based in Ghana, to be precise, in the northern part of Ghana. And our main motive is basically to use technology, data analysis, and as well as community engagement to ensure proper and safe disposal of electronic waste. I think we've been operating since from 2019 and currently introducing new products and as well as new projects to really ensure that the various waste within the community or within the country are safely collected, processed, and also in terms of ethical recovery and empowering the local communities within our various community. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So before we get into what it's been like to grow AppCyclers, because it sounds like a really grassroots effort, from the bottom up, being very person to person, and that's what I think I've also heard in that video that you posted a couple weeks ago, and also read and things like that. But before we get into it, um, how did you decide to start this company? Have you started companies before?
Yeah, I have never started any company before. Upcyclers is my first baby, I must say. So I grew up from an industrial home. I think where I grew up, we had a family business, which was basically into um, restaurants and all the food and all those processes. So I really had first-hand experience when it comes to customer service and providing services to people. So growing up, I've always wanted to be a businessman, but I actually didn't know that this is the entrepreneurship or I'm gonna be a founder as it is today. But rightly, I studied business in my senior high school and as well as in the university. So right at our final year in the university, I volunteered for an incubation hub company in the northern parts of Ghana. So that's where I began to build my entrepreneurship skills and attributes. And then as well, I was able to join a hackathon that was basically organized by one of the developmental agencies in Ghana here. So the main motive of the hackathon was to bring young individuals together to brainstorm on solution in solving e-waste challenge. So I didn't know what e-waste was. It was my first time in getting to know what exactly e-waste is and how it is posing a whole lot of detrimental effect to human health and then the environment. On the flip side of the coin, I also saw the economic potentials of the business activities around the collection, processing, and all of those aspects. And I love the fact that it kind of help solve certain environmental issue, but then as well there was also a bit of economic gain out of it. So that really um, inspired me to take it up as a young entrepreneur, and then right from 2019 we've been pursuing the idea to date.
So how has it been so if this is your first baby, like you say,
Yep.
how, but you've been around the idea of business ownership since you were younger. How has it been for you to be a business owner and learn what entrepreneurship means I mean, it's extremely impressive that you're still doing it, 7 years later, because most businesses or most companies don't make it that far. So you're obviously doing something right. But what is this like for you, personally? This journey?
I think for me it's a bit thrilling to know I'm contributing to something great, and also to be able to solve certain challenges that comes my way. So that has been like the driving factor, keeping us going from day one till today, right? So it's actually the desire to really contribute to something great within my community, and the desire to also see that through our operations or through our venture, we are providing a sort of employment opportunities for others. We are contributing in a cleaner environment within the community that we are living. So that has really been most of the driving factor. But then it has actually been challenging, in terms of capital to work with, in terms of building a team. All right. And as a young graduate right from school with no prior business management skills, all kind of theory learning. So it was really difficult at the beginning, but we made some mistakes, but then we also were able to learn from some others, and then we keep on going. So this has really been something um, we learn on the go, and we try to perfect whatever we are doing, and to be able to achieve great things. Yeah.
Has there been a time where you've thought about stopping?
Severally, severally. Yeah, severally. But then,
How did you get through those times?
yeah. So I think mostly looking back and looking at the number of years that have been spent um, making this to be a reality, there's no way to lose or to quit now. But I kind of also saw a brighter vision, a brighter future with what we are doing,
Hmm.
knowing that what we are doing is not necessarily a local challenge, but then it is a global issue, right? That our impact could scale globally, not necessarily locally. So that has also been something that kind of keeps me going on a daily basis.
So then talking about AppCyclers specifically, the the first question that I have is how has it changed from when you started? Like how
Great,
different is it?
great. So we we started as a student group right after the hackathon. We were brought together from different educational backgrounds. So right after the hackathon, we came to a conclusion that we're gonna pursue this. So it was mainly student group, and the main idea at first was we built a form of a platform that could help um, individual or businesses to discard off their electronic waste off safely. But then we realized that in doing so, we would have to kind of create more education, more awareness to let people know about the products that we are building. So we started mainly in education as a student group, moving from schools to schools, and as well moving from radio stations to radio station to educate students, to sensitize the general audience on various radio stations for them to know about e-waste, the necessary dangers it's associated with it, and how economically one can also make a livelihood out of it. So it was through a student group moving out. Then we realized that we were getting a lot of calls, people calling us to come for their waste, and then one of the setback was upon getting most of these calls, people reaching out to discard of their electronic waste off. We realized that there were no formal recyclers within the value chain that we can give the e-waste to them for them to recycle. So we had to also hoard most of these waste in our backyard whilst we keep on looking forward for various solutions. So that's how it started. So right from 2019, with education, with creating more awareness, we then incorporated in 2022. So all the business activities regarding AppCyclers began in 2022. So that has really been the trajectory, right from 2019, starting as just a student group to formulating it into a corporate organization, and now we currently have grown from just 2 individuals to about 9 staff working
Whoa.
together. And as well, we do have other part-time people who comes in to also help as well.
Hey,
Yeah,
congrats.
thank you very much.
That's awesome. So you said that there was a point in time where you had to keep all of the e-waste in your in like your backyard because there weren't facilities that could take the e-waste.
Yes.
How did you navigate? When was that, and how did you navigate that?
So I think this was yeah, we fully started. That was in November 2019. So I think
Okay.
2019, 2020, COVID hit. Most of the collection rightfully started within 2021, 2022 thereabout, where we were now collecting more of this e-waste.
Okay.
Literally, there were informal guys within the value chain, of which they move around collecting. But then, one thing about them was the use mostly unhygienic and unsafe methods in extracting the various valuable materials from the electronic waste that they do collect. So it was like they are kind of a contradictory method
Yeah.
to what we are trying to preach. So we're not able to deal with them. So we were able to get some more detailed trainings by various corporate organizations in terms of how to dismantle, how to process most of those devices very well, and even getting downstream market that would be able to buy various fractions. So um, that's how it all began, and then that's how it went through in terms of the collection. and currently we have various facilities that we process these um, devices.
So you responded to that by disassembling the e-waste in house, and then you resell the parts of it. Is that what you do?
Yeah, so right after the collection, I think what we were doing was just storing. We were not
Okay.
touching, we're not touching those devices until we were able to have our first grant funding. So the first grant funding helped us in acquiring like a workshop where most of those practices in dismantling and processing the various components began.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So what was it like to get your, I don't even know what the, like, is customers the right word? Like, what was it like to get your first customers? Because I also, in that video that you provided, one of the methods that you guys used was to use localized language to educate people about what this was, and then also integrate into your ecosystem. So how was it that you grew, and started working with more people and getting more customers and things?
Yeah, so it all began through the advocacy programs that we're running.
Okay.
So let's say, for instance, when you go to most of these international schools, so after educating the kids about e-waste, then they go home, tell their mom, hey mom, we have this is e-waste and it can cause pollution. There is this company called AppCyclers, we have to give it to them. Then their parents will call us, then we go pick it up. So that's how it all begins. And through the radio stations program too, we have people calling that they do have dates
Okay.
available, and it's all kind of grew up from then. But then
Wow.
by and by, we use social media
Okay.
in educating people and also trying to use social media as a medium in getting most of the clients or customers that we are looking out for. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what is the e-waste collection space? Like, maybe not even collection. I'm curious if there's any competitors that you have, where you operate in northern Ghana, or are your biggest competitors just like landfills, or just trash, or just people not taking the extra step to do something specific with their e-waste? Like, what is the state of e-waste disposal in northern Ghana, where you're at?
Yeah. So in Ghana generally, one of our biggest competitors are the informal guys, right?
Okay.
So these guys really have, in terms of the capital, to take more materials, right? And they have been within the industry for decades upon decades now. So they do have the experience in terms of the business acumen in generating revenues from most of this operation. They do have the networks, as most of these e-waste are mostly being auctioned, right? And then they do also have the capital to go in for the e-waste from various corporate organization auction these devices. Yeah, so the informal guys has been one of the highly competitive factors. But what we've done that has really helped us more is working hand in hand with them. So when we began, we literally tried to associate ourselves with them. We learned from them. We were able to also provide certain basic knowledge and education for them through partnership, collaboration in terms of training most of the scrap dealers.
Were
So
they
that,
open to it?
yeah, yeah, they were
Okay.
really open to it.
Cool.
We we come from the northern parts of the country where most of the most of the population within this e-waste processing are basically northerners, right? So they kind of buy into our new method of doing things, and then we were able to collaborate with them. So that strategy really helped us in terms of buying their trust and in terms of also providing most training for them, and then collaboratively working together and ensuring that we formalized their operations, integrating them into a formal ecosystem that we're currently building. I think I'll be sharing more on that with you as well. We currently have a flagship product that we built called Ayat, and this is more an AI-powered marketplace that is currently matchmaking the various key stakeholders within the ecosystem, right? So that is also something unique that we foresee the next future coming up. So yeah, in terms of competition, this was some of the strategies that
Wow.
we embarked on to have a competitive advantage within the value chain.
Yeah. When did you when did you start developing the marketplace product?
Yeah, so we started, right from the hackathon. That was the idea, right?
Oh,
But
wow.
then, yeah, that was the idea. But then we were not able to build it because we saw that it was very early and we were not going to get users for that sort of platform. So we
Okay.
kind of created just a website, right? Our first AppCyclers website was built with WordPress, where we had the sections where people can request for pickup of the electronic waste and all of that aspect. But then we were more into the operational aspect where we collect, we process, and then we are able to sell. So currently, I think beginning of the year or late 2024, that we kind of started the development of the the IAT platform. And we've currently have the first MVP out, where we have some local recyclers on board on it using the platform, and then um, having various corporate organization and individual also requesting for pickups on the platform. So this is more like a matchmaking where
Yeah.
companies, upon requesting, we match them to a close nearby former recycler. Then the former recycler, upon processing the various materials and coming up with the
Yeah.
recyclable raw materials, then we are then able to also connect these local recyclers to an industrial off-taker who can basically buy or source huge quantity materials from these local recyclers. So this has been the model.
That's wild. So then through the development of over the course of the company. So that's really awesome to hear that that was the idea from the beginning. And then you pursued a different style of business model and grew to a point where then you could introduce this marketplace.
Yeah.
Um, what has the support been as far as like what is the I mean you said there's an incubator hub and hackathons and things like this. What is the support like for the ecosystem in supporting your business growth in northern Ghana?
Yeah. So in terms of support, since when we started, there were literally no support within the value chain. I think when we started, there were more bars on plastic waste, so there were no focused on electronic waste, and there were no specific funding opportunity for entrepreneurs basically operating in this sector. But I think one of the resilient factor is being very innovative with our models. Okay, so as Amit mentioned, through advocacy sensitizational program, we were able to get certain funding that was somehow able to support various operations that we are embarking on. So this has really been most of the models or strategies that we've been implementing. until recently, we came across various funding opportunities going in for women entrepreneurs, and as well as mainly through the e-waste phase. But then um, it's been great so far, and currently advocating for more funding opportunities to be focused within the e-waste sector as well. Yeah.
So what would you say right now, given where the ecosystem was at when you started? Like you said, there's like no support, and then it's evolved over time. What would you say is the biggest hurdle that that you or the company is facing at the moment, and how is it also an opportunity for you?
Yeah. So the biggest hurdle for us was we being very early within the industry and with no infrastructures available for our business to thrive on, and with government currently trying to put in policies and regulations to really govern the whole industry, right? So it was more like we were one of the enabling factors that kind of contributed to a whole lot of things, which is currently in place now. And then finances was also one of the core hurdle, because I was not a 9 to 9 job person who has built certain form of savings available to start a
Sure, sure.
business. You know, I just completed from the university with no capital
Yeah,
available.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that was also a bigger challenge. But then we were young, so we could basically play around those risks. And yeah, those were quite a challenge. And even getting people to kind of work with, to be able to employ people and also getting the right skills was somehow difficult in coming by. But then I think gradually things are currently working out bit by bit.
So you say right now, would you say the hurdle is the same? You say it's finding funding and also hiring?
Yeah, yeah. So funding still becomes the bigger hurdle, but um, we know that as at now, we more focused on literally using the little we have to kind of grow the trajectory that we are looking in for. Yeah. So still we have raised certain amount, but then we need certain an amount to kind of help us to actualize more profit margin, and also to be able to grow the team to the capacity that we are looking out for or we are projected for. Yeah.
Nice. So then in the next, with this in mind, with the hurdles and the opportunities and the goals, what are you focusing on for the next 3 months or the next 6 months? Whatever timeline makes sense for you guys. I mean, you said you released an MVP version of this new marketplace, so I'm curious about what your plans are for that. But also generally, what are your plans in the future?
Yeah, so within the next 3 months, the goal is basically to fully enroll out Ayat, which is our flagship product. So the first MVP was out. We had a series of feedbacks, and currently we built on most of those feedbacks. So we're looking forward in fully launching, hopefully in January. And currently we do also have more series of projects that we implementing at the backside. So ensuring implementation of those various projects running out, and then in the near future. So we really want to position ourselves as a full technological company, within
Hmm.
this value chain. So
Okay.
we we foresee IAT being the go-to for us in terms of building IAT to be a pan-African movement where e-waste could be traded across Africa. Um, Individual or industrial organization, companies looking forward to discuss the electronic waste, regardless of their location in Africa, should not be a challenge through IAT. So that is truly the dream or the goal or the vision we are looking forward to achieve within the next 5 years to come.
Nice. Well, let's
Yeah.
go. Let's do it. That's so cool. That's really an awesome vision, and it's really exciting to hear that you guys have this version of this flagship product being released. That you have the momentum going into it. That you've had the success that you've had because it just sounds like the growth of the company has been so like you said, there was radio station by radio station, school by school, community by community. I mean, that is as local as you can get. So it's very exciting to hear that this is where the company stands. So my last question that with all of this work that, we talk about going into, I'm curious what inspires you to keep going.
I didn't get your last question.
Yeah, my last question for you is what inspires you to keep going?
Great. Ah, that's a great question. So, I think what really inspires me more is to really have a good impact, right? I I want to be known for something really great that in my absence tomorrow, um, my name could be mentioned as part of people who contributed into building something great within Africa. Yeah, so that has really been my inspiration factor, and also in terms of to be able to support family, to be able to support individual, and as well in terms of being able to be financially independent, right? That is basically a fundamental goal for every entrepreneur. But then the impact aspect also keeps me moving. Yeah.
Nice. Well, it's definitely inspiring. It's inspiring me. I know it'll inspire the people listening. What's the best way to get in touch or follow along with your story if anyone else was inspired to do so?
Great. So, AppCyclers is on all social media handles. So you can follow us at AppCyclers, which is the AppCyclers. We can have this on all social media platforms. And personally, I'm more active on LinkedIn as well. So Agudor Agabas on LinkedIn, where I usually post most of the growth and also kind of advocate for various livelihood implications for the informal sectors, and also advocating for better policies within the e-waste sector and influencing a whole lot of change as well. So yeah, you can find us on these various platforms.
Awesome. Well, go do it, everybody. Go do it. This is awesome. Thank you so much, Agabas, for your time, for your story. I'm excited to reconnect in a couple of months to see where that marketplace is at, to see where you guys have gone. What new challenges are in the focus for you. But yeah, thank you so much for your time. We'll stay in touch.
Thank you very much for having me, Blake, and I really look forward to staying in touch with you to update you on how far we've come. Yeah,
Got it.
thank you
Talk to you
for
soon.